All right. If you think the best mobile home park deals are hiding in plain sight on LoopNet or popping up in some Facebook group, I've got to let you in on a secret. The most successful operators, the ones who are really crushing it, they're playing a completely different game. Seriously, they're not competing with the masses. They're connecting directly with owners. So let's pull back the curtain and dive into the insider's playbook for finding these deals before anyone else even knows they exist.
So look, this really breaks down the two worlds that exist in this business. On the left, you've got the on-market listed world. It is a total feeding frenzy. We're talking 50-plus buyers all clawing for the same deal. Brokers gatekeeping all the information, and the price is already sky high before you even get a word in. It's stressful. Now, look at the right. That's the professionals arena. That's off-market. Here, you're the only buyer at the table. You're talking directly to the seller, building actual rapport, and negotiating from a place of partnership, not pressure. It is, and I mean this, a night and day difference. One is chaos, the other is control.
And just so you know, we're not talking about some tiny niche strategy. Look at this number, 70%. Let that sink in. Industry data shows that over 70% of all mobile home park deals are done off-market or through these quiet back-channel networks. So think about that. If your entire strategy is just refreshing public listing sites, you are literally blind to the majority of the deals happening. The real game is being played behind the scenes.
Okay, so the big question, right? How do you get access to that 70%? How do you get an invitation to play in the real game? Well, it's not about some secret handshake or knowing the right guy. It all starts with a huge shift in your mindset. It's what we call the credibility principle.
This right here, this quote, is the absolute core of the entire off-market philosophy. You see, amateurs chase. They send out thousands of spammy postcards, they make endless cold calls, they're just chasing anything that moves. Professionals? We don't do that. You don't chase. You position yourself, you build a reputation, so that when that park owner is finally ready to sell their life's work, you are the obvious, the trusted, the logical choice. You become a magnet, not a hunter. And to really get this, you have to put yourself in the shoes of a typical long-term MHP owner. This isn't just some asset on a spreadsheet for them. It's their legacy. They've probably poured decades of their life into this place. As you can see here, they value their reputation above all else. They think in terms of decades, not quarters. And trust me, they can spot a fast-talking amateur from a mile away. The second they sense any kind of high-pressure sales tactic or that you're just looking for a quick flip, boom, you're done. They need certainty and a safe pair of hands, not a headache. Okay, so if credibility is the foundation, what do you build on top of it? You build a system. This isn't about one magic bullet. It's a strategic, multi-pronged approach, a 6-channel acquisition system. So you're not just doing one thing. You're mapping ownership data, sure, but you're also building deep relationships with brokers for their inside track. You're getting intel from local vendors, the pavers, the plumbers, who see what's really going on. You're even monitoring public records like probate filings. You see how each of these channels works together? They create this effect we call compounding visibility. So when an owner finally decides it's time, your name is the one they've seen and heard from multiple trusted angles. So let's actually break this down. We're going to do a deep dive into the first, and you could argue the most critical channel, the research-first play of ownership mapping. This is where the magic happens. It's how you completely separate yourself from the pack before you even think about making first contact. This is where you put on your detective hat. Seriously, before you do anything else, you gather intelligence, and it's all from public records. We're talking about digging into the county records to see who actually owns it and for how long. Is their mailing address in another state? Are they behind on property taxes? Do they have a bunch of open code violations? You're essentially building a profile, looking for signs of misalignment, clues that an owner's life might be heading in a different direction than their property. Now this is the gold nugget of the whole system. It's learning how to translate that dry data into real actionable intelligence. It's about reading between the lines. So you see a mailing address in Florida for a park in Ohio, that could mean a tired, absentee owner who's sick of the headaches. You see the same owner on the deed for 30 years, that screams potential retirement. No new permits pulled in the last 5 years. That's a classic sign of a tired operator. You're not guessing, you're deciphering the story the data is telling you. And this is where the math gets really simple, but so powerful. You see, any one of those signals on its own might not mean much, but when you start stacking them, that's the game changer. You find a 75-year-old owner who lives out of state and hasn't pulled a major permit in over 5 years. That's not just a lead anymore. That is an A+ high probability target.
You just used public data to find a likely motivated seller without spending a single dollar on marketing. That's how the pros do it.
Okay, I know. This whole system, it can sound like a lot when you lay it all out, but the real power here is in its focus. It's about doing the right work, not just more work. So the obvious question is, what's the first step? How do you actually put this into motion today?
Here it is, your first clear, actionable move. Don't try to boil the ocean. Don't get overwhelmed. Pick one county, just one. Your mission is to identify and map every single mobile home park inside its borders. And then you just begin. Start your research, one property at a time. The path to finding incredible off-market deals doesn't start with 1,000 cold calls. It starts right here with a single, well-researched map.